My friends and fellow patriots, good morning. My name is Bob, better known as Bob K6UDA from the K6UDA radio show. I want to welcome you to the very first installment of the 2 Alpha HamRadio Podcast. Now, why 2 Alpha HamRadio? Because number one, I still love ham radio. Number 2, and it's bigger. The 2 Alpha 2A. This has been something that I have wanted to do for several years. I've thought about it. Lately, something has been nagging at me that I've got to actually get this thing going. So here I am, making my attempt at getting into the 2A space here. A little bit about me, 28-year law enforcement veteran out of the People's Republic of California. After I retired a few years back, we escaped. My wife and I escaped, and we now live here in Southern Idaho at the Southern Idaho Command. At the risk of getting demonetized on YouTube, of getting expelled from YouTube or wherever else. This was something that I felt not only that I wanted to do, because I've always been a huge 2A supporter, 2A activist. This is something that I needed to do. I had to do it. It was just kind of how to do it and how to put it together and still be able to do the K6UDA radio show, because I love doing that too. I wish I didn't have to do this, but I do, because our rights are at stake. And today I want to bring you something that I heard on Guns and Gadgets last night. This came out of the SHOT Show from GOA. Basically pushed me to write my legislators, both state and federal. And I just got done doing that. And instead of going through this, I'm just going to read you the letter. I'll show it to you here. Hello, my name is Bob Radowski, and I'm a retired law enforcement officer and constituent from Twin Falls, Idaho. I am writing you today to express my concern over the ATF's newly published Pistol Brace rule and the huge risk of entrapment this exposes tens of thousands of our fellow Idahoans, as well as millions of law-abiding Americans throughout the U.S. As you may be aware, the ATF recently published a rule deeming handguns equipped with a pistol stabilizing brace to be short-barreled rifles. GOA estimates over 40 million of these braces are currently in use by law-abiding citizens. Through this new ATF rule, over 40 million people are now in possession of short-barreled rifles. Possession of an unregistered short-barrel rifle carries the same penalty as possession of a machine gun. Now, ATF has offered a 120-day grace period and amnesty to all owners of brace-equipped pistols to register them as SBR, or short-barreled rifles, using their Form 1 application. Normally, an applicant of a Form 1 will submit the application prior to building or acquiring the NFA item. Mere possession of the unregistered NFA item subjects the applicant to a felony prosecution. ATF has stated to GOA that it will use enforcement discretion, meaning they'll look the other way. While an estimated 40 million applications are processed in the next 120 days. ATF rules on applications and backgrounds states that after 88 days after submission, if a background has not been completed, the application is denied. Normally, the applicant is not in possession of the item and a dealer can resubmit or work it out on the back end. Now, off the subject, I'm not a dealer. I don't know how that works. Somehow they make that work. Example, in March of 2022, I purchased a suppressor for my varmint rifle. I paid for the suppressor, filled out the application, paid my $200 tax stamp, and as of today, January 20th, 2023, the ATF has still not processed my application. The difference here is that the dealer is in possession of my NFA item after nearly 1 year of waiting. Based on the current volume and wait times for application processing and ATF backgrounds, there is no possible way the ATF will be able to process 40 million new applications from otherwise law-abiding people who are already in possession of a newly deemed NFA item within the ATF's 120-day grace period. So what happens to those people who submit evidence of their felonious possession of an SBR after the 88-day background rule and the 120-day amnesty period are over? What happens to these people when after their 88-day period passes and their application is automatically denied, yet they're already in possession of this NFA item? I learned that the president of GOA spoke to an attorney for the ATF this week and was told in this case, enforcement action will eventually happen. That means millions of people, i.e. gun owners, can be prosecuted under federal law using the very photographic and written evidence they supply to the ATF on their Form 1. Now here in Idaho, maybe a few of the lucky ones can get their applications processed and then enjoy their Second Amendment rights. But think about this. In states like California and New York that don't allow any NFA items, what happens to those people? If they submit a Form 1 and somehow get approved, are they now felons in their own state? This has far-reaching implications. So why am I writing you today? Congress has the ability to stop this blatant entrapment scheme. The ATF is supposed to follow the law that Congress enacts. The ATF is not supposed to make laws on its own. I urge you to bring this to your fellow members of Congress and end the pistol brace rule. It is unconstitutional. It'll surely be challenged in court. But more importantly, or more urgently, it is designed to entrap good citizens in a no-win scenario. All right, guys. So there it is. This is what I wrote this morning. I sent this out to my elected officials. I urge you to do the same. I'm going to put kind of a blank copy of this in the show notes somewhere here on Rumble. I urge you to get in touch with your elected officials and do the same. Together, we could put enough pressure on Congress. Congress can end this right now. Anyway, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more Second Amendment news, Second Amendment things. I don't know how we're going to start, where we're going to start. It's mind-boggling how much is going on in the Second Amendment space. Anyway, also on my regular YouTube channel, the 2 Alpha HamRadio Podcast, that will be my new Monday noon show live. And if I could figure out how to do that on Rumble, I'll start doing it on Rumble. Anyway, my friends, thank you so much. Stay armed, stay vigilant. I'm Bob. Catch you next time.